Alrighty, welcome to Empower League's team call for June 20th. We have Team Mountain Strong on with us tonight as well, and I think we might have a couple from Aspire Nation too. So welcome everybody. Colleen, Miss Popular, everybody wants to see and hear from you per usual. Before we dive in and get started, I just have a couple reminders for you guys, and then I have a really exciting recognition, and if anybody else has them, we can shout those out too. I just wanted to remind you guys that there's going to be a Shakeology and Portion Fix challenge pack that is just Shakeology and the Portion Fix meal plan, which is going to be for on-demand members only. So if somebody signed up with All Access or on demand and they didn't get Shakeology and the meal plan, they're going to be able to upgrade to have that, and it's going to be $130 for that, and it launches on June 29th. So if I were you to prepare for that, if you have customers that are on-demand members only, and we've recently been getting an email from Beachbody about that with your customers who are members but don't have current orders, write a list of those people and plan to reach out to them, before the 29th or on the 29th or that week after to let them know that that is available to them. Did somebody say something or somebody's unmuted? I don't know. The next thing is that I was actually on a call today, just kind of grinding our gears of how to prep ourselves to get ready to launch in the UK in fall. So just to let you guys know that we are going to be kind of covering and sharing some things of how you can prepare to really launch your business forward once we do launch in the UK in the fall. So stay tuned for some things to come about that. And then I just wanted to remind you too, if you're coming to Summit, the top 800 Success Club earners in June will have an opportunity to win a celebrity trainer photo op. And don't worry thinking, oh my God, there's only 800 people, because it's organized by category. So it's diamond and above coaches, ruby and above, ruby and lower, or coach status only. So you have a very good chance of earning those. I think I've gotten them every single year. But if you're somebody that's never met celebrity trainers or never had pictures, it's a great opportunity for you to really push to help a lot of people this year and earn a really cool opportunity for yourself there at Summit. So that is FAQ 2756 if you want to check that out. And recognition, I have to give a huge shout out to Kelly Kuntz tonight for officially locking in 2-star diamond with her team. Huge deal. And I just want to say that Kelly has been a go-getter since day one. Kelly dove into this opportunity with such a vision of what she wanted to see happen with this. She has faced a lot of setbacks and a lot of struggles, just like we all do, but Kelly has never given up. She's forging forward. She's building a team with such heart and such passion. She's an absolutely incredible leader, and I'm just so proud of you and so happy for you. And if you guys don't know, at 2-star, she now has the opportunity to open a second business center, which is a huge stepping stone forward into building greater residual income and financial freedom. So huge congrats to you, Kelly. So proud of you. I think you're getting shouted out. So deserved. Congrats. So does anybody else have any recognition that they want to shout out before we get started?
I'll shout out Sabina for eating her dinner on the team call.
I still have half mine left to eat too.
When listening to her eat it.
Let's see.
I'm so mean.
Oh, it's the video's off, but the mute wasn't. Okay, now it is. Colleen, don't be a hater because you're pregnant and you can't eat everything you want to right now. Okay. If nobody has anything else, let's get started. So I asked Colleen to hop on tonight. Colleen has been one of the coaches that I've looked up to since day one. I don't even know how early on, how much further ahead you were, Colleen. I don't know exactly when you started, but I know that Colleen was one of the coaches that ran my New Coach Basics when I was brand new. And she said the simplest thing that literally has stuck with me forever. And she said, fast is fun, and made an analogy of a plane trying to get off the ground and take flight into the air, and how hard you have to push and rally and grind and be consistent to get your business off the ground, to take flight, and that like forever stuck in my head. But Colleen is a leader I truly admire. She just has such heart, such authenticity, and she's a total badass with owning her mindset and just owning her business. So I wanted her to hop on here tonight and share with you guys about what it takes to have a CEO mindset in this business to really create true success for yourself. So she is self-proclaimed to hate recognition, but she is a 7-star diamond, 2-time elite coach, and a 6-figure earner. So Colleen, take it away. I probably called you Eddie again because it's just like normal.
It's okay. I'm still Eddie on here.
Curtice.
I'm sorry, Sabina. I know it's your first call. I'm totally really just like, if you know me, I'm so sarcastic. I would hope someone would call me up. But all fun and games. But I'm here to talk to you guys tonight. Did you want me to share any of my story or just talk topic? Whatever you want.
You can start with your story if you want. And I forgot that Colleen is newly pregnant, so wish her congrats too.
Thanks, guys. Today I forgot I was pregnant until I had to do 9 vials of blood work, and I'm really bad at blood work. So, okay, so I'll give you guys, my story could be an hour call, so I'm gonna make it like a 3-minute version. So I'm 31, I live in Northern California in Lake Tahoe, California, but I'm originally from Boston, Mass. So I grew up this amazing kind of childhood where I was raised in a really traditional way. There's nothing wrong with it, but if you know me personally and you follow me, I'm nothing traditional. I am kind of like the black sheep of my family, and they're doctors, they're chemists, they're IT directors, they're real estate, and then there's me. So I've always challenged my family, but as soon as I turned 24, you know, I had the college degree, I had the corporate job. That's when I decided to spread my wings and I moved across country. I didn't know a single person here. I just had visited Lake Tahoe, fell in love. But when I moved here, I transferred my Verizon corporate job out here, and my boss ended up being like a really terrible person. So again, being raised by a traditional family, you go to work, you put your head down, they're your boss, and you deal with it. And that's kind of what I did. I didn't do personal development then. I didn't really have like leader figures on social media to look up to. I never even thought I could live a free spirit life. So a blessing in disguise came my way after working with this terrible boss for a long time. And I actually came into work and I found out that she transferred me to a store that was closing. So not only did she transfer me out of my job, or out of the store that I had been managing, she transferred me to a place that was closing because she didn't like me and knew I'd lose my job. So that to me was the ultimate. I will never go back to that type of environment where someone has control over my income, my time, my schedule. And I really let her take control over me. And that's the key that I want to share with you kind of in the whole thing today, is kind of allowing life to punch you and you staying on the ground, because that's what I used to do. Life would punch me and then I'd just be like, ow, that hurt. And what do? And complain about it. And that's what I did at my job. And then when I lost my job, that final punch, I didn't like it. So I took the next 1.5 years to kind of figure out what I was going to do. And I thought of Elizabeth Hartkey. You guys all know Liz. She's my upline. She was someone who was living the vibrant life I was looking for. You guys, we were talking about the glow when I first hopped on the call. Granted, Liz wasn't pregnant, but she had the happy, healthy, free spirit, living her life glow. She never shared her income back then. She never talked about her abs back then. She didn't even really talk about weight loss back then. But I wanted the life that she had. So after losing my corporate job, I've been through cancer twice with my husband, chemotherapy with him. I had mono. I'm losing my house right now. Not like I own it losing it, but I had to move, found out I was pregnant. Like, life is crazy. And you're probably like, yeah, cool, Colleen. Like, I have my own stuff going on. And that's what I want you to remember. Every single face on this phone call right now has your own mess. You cannot think that my mess is greater than yours and yours is greater than mine. Dana can't think that her mess is messier than anyone else's. You have to see us all as... And that leadership lesson for me, when someone told me that, I can't see Liz as up here. It's because she's a 15-star in the Million Club doesn't mean that I have to look at myself down here and look at this huge ladder that I have to climb. We are human. We are women, strong men. Who, I don't know what you guys have on your team, but we are people that can make the decision to change our habits, change your lifestyle, if you can physically change your body, and I'm talking about lose 100 pounds, lose the baby weight, get rid of type 2 diabetes, and all the things that we've changed in our life physically, imagine what you could do with your mindset with just as much focus on habits. If you want to get healthy, you change those habits. If you want to become happier, if you want more success, it's the same principle. But most people kind of shove that stuff to the side because it is the hardest work you will ever do. I promise you, your mindset in any situation, and maybe you agree, is the hardest work you'll ever do. And that's why there's not 5 million Beachbody coaches, because they look at, oh, I got to change my eating, I got to work out, and I got to do personal development. Like, that's a whole different ballgame. I have coaches that have left to go sell clothing, and they're like super stoked on it, and it's awesome. But then they're like, crap, I still got to work out, and I still got to do personal development, and I still got to eat right, and I still have to feel good, right? So this is the hardest job. So how many people are on here? 32 people are on here right now. High five to you guys. Kudos to you for making the decision to dive in. I'm here to talk to you tonight about the difference between a Beachbody coach and someone who goes and makes that transition from coach to CEO. Because there are differences. There are people who join and some stay at the same level, and then sometimes they'll give up. Because I don't think that these things that I found in my own experience that I had to learn the hard way. I was a Beachbody coach for a long time. We're all Beachbody coaches. You drink shakes, you do challenge groups, so do I. So what's the difference between the gap in leadership and the gap in income or the gap in rank or confidence and energy and all those things? So I'm always out of breath now being pregnant, and I don't even have a belly yet. So don't mind me, but I had to sit down and say, okay, I want to teach people how to become the CEO of their life. I stopped running free clean eating groups. I didn't really do a lot of them. And I said, how can I help people transform their life, whether it's a challenger or a coach, in the biggest way possible? And I broke it down, and I thought about, the Tony Robbins. I thought about the Lindsay Matways, the Bonnie Engels, the Liz Hartkeys, like the Christina Delgados. What makes them stand out? And the first thing that I wrote down when I was writing, the differences down, because as a leader, you'll learn that you have to articulate what you've found. You have to be able to share what you're learning with other people. So it's not just, hey, you go read 10 minutes of PD and I'm good for the day. You have to transfer that belief, and you have to transfer that to someone else. Some of the best coaches in this business are teachers, because they take the info and they teach the students. So if I can teach you to stop and I'm not like downplaying just being a Beachbody coach, because we're all Beachbody coaches. It's the most amazing thing ever. But I want you to change your life in a huge way and your business. So the big difference is that CEOs handle everything different. When life gets hard, and I shared a little bit of my struggle in like a 30-second spiel. Dana's story is amazing. I guarantee if I was to pick on every single one of you to speak, that you would tell me your greatest struggle or obstacle or tragedy in life, and you handled it. Maybe you're handling it right now. A Beachbody coach will look at the struggle or the fear or the challenge as a bad thing, and they shut down. They will crumble. And then the CEO says, what can I do to find anything positive in the situation? What can I do to share a lesson with people? A Beachbody coach says, hey, I can't post today in my challenge group, or I can't do my workout today because of XYZ. A CEO says, hey, you know what? My team needs me. My audience on social media needs me. I just had this conversation with a new coach today. She said, I don't feel like it's right for me to just be sharing my journey on social media. And I said, that's because you're playing the me song. You're saying, I don't feel right sharing my journey, when you're not thinking about other people. So the huge difference between the Beachbody coach and the CEO level is, and if you're taking any notes, this is like the big aha moment that I had. I'll wait till the echo goes away so you guys can hear me. I get squirrel brain. That's kind of why I was picking on Sabina too, because I just, so the big difference is serving. The Beachbody coach is like, flex muscle, did my workout, drank my shake, I checked into my challenge group today. The CEO wakes up dedicated to serve other people every single day. So I want you guys to think about Liz or Dana or whoever you are. I don't like to use the word pedestal, but that you're putting on a pedestal that you just say, they're amazing at what they do. Maybe it's not even a Beachbody coach. I guarantee that that person that you're thinking of is serving others dedicated day in and day out. The final level of leadership is that aspect of dedicating your whole life to serving others. So it's kind of like being a mom, and I'm not even talking about me yet, but I know that my mom always put me over her. She always did everything for me first. That's how I see this mission as a Beachbody coach / CEO. Is it's not about me anymore. And we're going to talk about, if you're still in the Beachbody coach world, how you can make the transition. But I just kind of wanted to preface that by saying the big difference that I have found is that aspect of serving. Here's where I came up with this idea of mine. So when my husband was going through his chemo treatments, it was so hard because I had to get him up in the morning and drive him in. It's like a teenager that doesn't want to go to school, drive him back into treatments. And then I had to sit there with him and work and do my workout. And I didn't want to open a PD book. I was angry. I didn't want to check into a challenge group. I didn't want to have to carry my team. I wanted people to carry me. But then I remembered that I took on the role of becoming the CEO, and I said, you know what? I have to show up for them. In your tragedies and challenges and obstacles, please find strength in yourself to share and be there vulnerably and always possible. I understand there's some things that sometimes you cannot share. There were things about Sean's chemo stuff that I wasn't able to share, but I was able to share the event enough to inspire people. Our job is to help other people achieve their goals. Don't forget that that's our mission statement. So, a CEO, so tomorrow when life is hard, whether it's work, kids, Beachbody work, I need you to look at this challenge that falls in your lap and say, how am I going to fight this challenge? What am I going to do right now? Where is my mind at? What action will I take? You must look at the challenges that fall in your lap as a test. And oh man, today has been full of them. Like my blood work test, I was like to you guys, you probably are laughing at that. That's the most traumatic thing for me in my whole life is getting blood work. That's like my one thing. I'd rather be in labor, and I haven't even been there yet. Blood work for me. And so I was just like, Colleen, you have to fight for the challenge. And I know that's corny, guys, but trust me, if you use that trigger and that tool of challenge in my lap, what do I do? What does a CEO do? You can ask yourself, what would Carl Deichler do? That has helped me so much. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Beachbody coaches. We have a brand new coach on here today. She's probably like, what the heck? You're going to figure out your fitness and your containers and your Shakeology, and you're going to learn Beachbody for the next 4 years. You're a freshman in high school right now, right? You are learning what PD will do for you. It's different for everyone. For me, in the very beginning, my confidence and my tenacity and my facing fears was strong. But on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say I was like an 8 or a 9, some people join this business and their tenacity for facing fear is like a 0. And they really need a lot of time to get closer to face the fears. That's not a bad thing, but I don't want you to say, why am I sucking at this business? Why is this not working for me? When on a scale of 1 to 10, girls, you're really working on your confidence and your mojo. And for a lot of us, there are so many cobwebs stuck to us that we have to spend a lot of time pulling off that it can sometimes take people 18 months. I didn't have a team for 18 months. Being honest, if you're a newer coach, are you willing to be here for 18 months without a team and work on yourself the most? And that was almost a blessing in disguise for me, because when I had the team, oh man, when they had a struggle, I was like, been there, done that. I know how to relate to that. Rather than, just having this huge team as an inexperienced coach, I did so much work on myself first. So these cobwebs that are stuck to you, they might take you 18 months. They could take you a week to pull off. Don't beat yourself up if you're like, I have no idea how I'm going to serve other people. It's just going to take time. So I'm not here to say everyone needs to be a CEO tomorrow, but it's so good to know the difference as you're learning. That was helpful for me. So how many of you read personal development? Now, how many of you do personal development? Everyone's like, trick question. Okay, so there's a difference between reading 10 minutes or even reading 15 minutes or doing an audiobook when you have 10 children screaming in the background and you don't hear anything. Because I've seen people, they're like, oh yeah, when my family's eating breakfast, I listen to PD. And I'm like, how's that going for you? She's like, I don't remember anything. There's a difference between reading and doing PD. The difference of the Beachbody coach versus the CEO is that when you read something and you digest it, you have to eat that spoonful of medicine when you take that lesson and need to apply it. So, what in leadership in my world right now, in all the books I read, there's no bad teams, just bad leaders. That's a huge spoonful of medicine. And I take the PD and I do the PD. I don't just read it and throw it out of my mind. Anytime that I read a spiritual book, I'm really into Gabby Bernstein. I'm very close to my spiritual side. For me, I do her exercises in the book. I'm doing the PD. That's a huge difference between Beachbody coaches and CEOs, is they actually apply those things and do the work. I'll let you in on another secret. Social media, if I go to your social media right now, do I see personal development on your social media? A lot of people are like, oh man, you're right. I never share what I'm learning. The best way to create attraction marketing in a brand and be noticed is to show people you're growing. And that doesn't just mean a quote. That means maybe something you learned with a quote, with how it made you feel, with how you've related an experience to that. That has been one of the most instrumental things in my business. And if you guys know my coach, Candice, that's the same thing for her. She was a massive introvert. No, Colleen, I can't do it. I'm shy. And I was like, you need to do PD on introverts because I'm not an introvert. Although I like spending time by myself, in this manner, I'm extroverted. So she went and studied the heck out of introverts and she did the PD. And now she serves the PD. So are you doing the PD? Are you serving the PD? So important. Water break. All right. So you wear two hats as the Beachbody coach and the CEO. We all run the challenge groups. We all have the Shakeology. We all go to Summit. So you have to ask yourself, what's going to make you stand out to be that CEO? If you're not able to answer that question yet, it's all good. I just want you to dive in more to your personal growth journey and figure out where you need to build your confidence so that if I was to throw you on stage at Summit and ask you why you love Beachbody so much, you should have a reason as to why you love to serve people. Here's my mission statement. That's actually the first day of my team training is what's your mission statement? When you meet someone in an elevator, what do you do? What are you doing as a coach? I don't just say I'm a Beachbody coach. I say I actually help people with their health and fitness, nutrition, all of those things to live a really happy, healthy, vibrant life. But I also teach people how to create an online business like I have. My passion is not just Shakeology. That's what most Beachbody coaches stay at. CEOs, you have to duplicate. You have to lead. You have to serve others with the opportunity itself. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between employees and entrepreneurs. And this is one that I recently added to this presentation because I think sometimes we come into this thinking like, Dana's my boss or she's telling me what to do, or I'm not saying she does that. I'm just saying where she's your upline. The boss to employee mentality is something you have to check at the door. Probably a lot of us still have other jobs or full-time jobs or side jobs where you have a boss. So I'm a very visual person. At your job, you probably live inside this box. Okay, let's say a nurse, for example, or a teacher. You show up at 9 a.m. when the bell rings or when you clock in. You are supposed to do X, Y, Z. And as a teacher and as a nurse and many other things, if you stray outside this box, that is so bad. That's how it was at Verizon for me. I actually got in trouble for trying to be creative and to think outside the box. That's what an employee does. So don't come into this business thinking that there's this box that you're going to be confined to of, okay, day 1 is share my story. Day 2, I learn Success Club. And then in 3 weeks, I learn how to apply to hit Success Club. Being an entrepreneur is surviving outside this box, literally flailing and swimming and falling on your face. So Dana probably provided the most amazing, jump start or some type of coach training for you guys. My obsession has been, why isn't everyone successful then? Because here's my blueprint. Every single person has exactly what I've done, and it's because they're not willing to flail outside that box. And the black box looks like this outside of the black box as an entrepreneur. It's like you sign up with Dana, she locks you in a dark room, and you are sitting on the floor, and you're like, what did I just do? Successful entrepreneurs, they stand up, and they will try to feel out what's going on. Employees are scared because they don't know how to flail. They're so used to the 9 to 5 and here's your job description and your boss tells you what to do. And as an entrepreneur, you are going to flail around to the point that you're like, I'm failing. So I want you to remember my voice when I say that. The next time that you think you're failing, that is normal. If you go into a regular job, you kind of can't fail unless you're just really stuck at the job. But if you keep getting trained and you show up and you bring your all, you're probably going to stick around that job. In this job, there's no one telling you like, hey, you're doing it, other than if you hit Success Club or get the paycheck or change the life or sell the challenge pack. So don't think that just because you're not hitting Success Club means that you're a failure and that you sit on the floor in that black box and just cry or quit. Flail around. Do you know how many times Dana and I have probably had to run into the wall trying to look for the light switch? And then when we stand up in that dark room, we were willing to flail around long enough to the point where we found the light switch and then we go, ooh. And then we said, hey, I figured it out. And that's so important to do because guess what? When you have a team of 50 girls someday and they're sitting in the black box by themselves, you know what it feels like to flail, and you have to help them flail to succeed, all the way to success. Hardest job in the world, but it is so rewarding, and there's nothing else I'd rather do. You are literally transforming people's lives from the bones to the fat to the cellulite to their brain to their heart. Coolest job ever. So just remember that. You're not trading time for money. So don't, when I ask people, how long are you willing to commit on this business? They stick to this number because they're used to, I work 40 hours a week, so I'm going to say I'm going to work 5 or whatever. Don't trade time for money. The last thing for our employee to entrepreneur is understand what mentorship looks like. When my boss used to sit me down at Verizon, it was a bad thing. Hey, Colleen, come see me in my office. You all know that's a bad thing. It's like going to the principal's office. You'd get written up, you'd be reviewed, you'd get scrutinized. When Dana's working with you guys, and I know there's multi teams on here, but let's just use Dana as the example. When Dana is mentoring you and she's like, hey girl, let's work on your social media a little bit. Haven't seen some personal development. What's your fitness game like right now? Do you even drink Shakeology? I have no idea. That's not a boss telling you that you're doing something bad. You must swallow that pill and remember that she is helping you succeed, and rather than flail around in the box by yourself. So know that mentorship relationship is extremely important. And if you're not working with your upline, bad girl. You need to work with your upline. If I didn't work with Liz, even still being a 7-star diamond, elite, whatever, I hate accolade stuff, but if I didn't work with her, I don't know where I'd be. Don't be an island. You will fail in this business if you act as an island. I promise. You must find someone that is running with you side by side, whether that's your upline, a success partner, someone you look up to. I used to have so many silent mentors in this business. And what that means is I still go to Amy Silverman's social media every single day. When I sit on my couch at nighttime, when my work day is done, it's never done, I go to her Instagram. I used to go to her website, but I just go to her Instagram now. I check out Bonnie's one of my best friends, so I just kind of check out what she's doing, and she's amazing at objection posts. Amazing. She basically combats all her objections publicly. So that's what silent mentors are. You can see on social media what other people are doing, and you can follow their lead. You're not copying them, but it brings me so much inspiration to know that it's already been done. Everyone's always afraid to fail, but guess what? You have one choice, and one choice only. You can make the decision that someone else has done it, so you're going to do it too, or you can just keep complaining and whining and saying you're scared and have this whole story for the next 10 years of your life and regret missing out on that opportunity. The only thing that's going to help fix your fear around the transition from coach to CEO, because it's comfy being a Beachbody coach. I work out, I drink my shake, I read the 10 minutes, I post on social media, I hop on a team call, super comfy. Have to do some public speaking, have to come up with content, have to, recruit a new coach. Like, that's a whole different thing. The only way to cure fear is to stop hesitating. It's like standing at the top of a cliff. Today, me with my blood work, I had the choice to do it today or tomorrow. So what did I do? I ate a fat spoonful of my own medicine, and I said, hesitation breeds fear, and I went and I did it. So I'm going to pat myself on the back there. All right, so I want to share a couple more things with you guys about CEO stuff. So one of my pet peeves lately has been when people are trying to train their coaches, no offense to anyone that does, but I'm just an honest person, just do the vital behaviors, and that's all you have to do, and you'll be a six-figure earner. That's not all I did to be successful. To hit Success Club and to start your team and to get going as a Beachbody coach, vital behaviors all the way. When I'm the CEO, I still do the vital behaviors, but I want to give you guys like a leg up on how you can truly become the CEO. So there's 5 skills you need to sharpen. So I talked about the mindset and all the rah-rah cheerleader stuff with you guys and serving. So now I want to give you guys some tangible things that you need to work on to make that transition. So if you guys are newer, write this down. And then when you get a little bit more confidence and when you are, when you get the ball rolling and you get the basics down, then you can work on these things. The first skill you need to sharpen, this is the key word. You don't just do social media. You sharpen your skill for social media. So social media is number 1. Social media means, what is your message? If I go to your page, what do I see? Do I see Beachbody or do I see Dana? Do I see family? Do I see hair and makeup? Do I see parts of your brand that your customer out there will be clicking like on Facebook? I could talk on social media forever, so I'm going to try not to. But I want you guys to think of every single post that you make as a Super Bowl ad. So every single post I make, maybe that's a little exaggeration, because sometimes I just make a post to be engaging. Like my reptile post got almost 200 comments. That's not a Super Bowl ad, but it was strategic. It was smart. I want you to picture like you're spending $1 million to put this post out there, this picture, this message. And when they're doing the Super Bowl ads, they have 30 seconds-ish to leave an impression on the people watching. And they hope that they are remembered as the Budweiser commercial or the Doritos commercial. So I want you to think of your social media and sharpening the skill as a CEO of, are you blending in with the Beachbody coaches? Or are you standing out as the CEO and you spent $1 million on this ad and it better count? You should at least have, I think, 1 to 2 really awesome posts every single day. For 2.5 years, that's what I focused on. Is it a little bit more fun and lax for me now? Yeah, because I have more of an audience that I like to have fun with. But that doesn't mean the second skill is behind the scenes, I'm finding new people and I'm connecting with them. So not only do you have to have kick-ass social media and $1 million Super Bowl ads on your posts, and that is a skill that can be sharpened. I just want to go back to that for a second. I have worked with people who have struggled with social media with recrafting posts. Is it tedious for me to go through words and reword things with them? It is. And I give them a couple times and I say, this is how it should feel. If you're really doing that Super Bowl ad, it should be an awesome picture. It should have, all my deep posts have PD in it. I'm at that level where I love sharing that. I love serving that. But if you learned a daily breakthrough today or you had an experience, I want you guys to share whether it was a struggle, a lesson, and then the key is to, at the end, put in how you can help someone else today. So if there's something that you learned in your social media today, how can not just talk about, guess what I learned today, guys? Me, this is my day. It's you have to put a spin at the end about how you're helping other people, how you're spoon feeding it to them, how you're reminding them that you believe in them. And that's a skill that you will craft over time. So I always check my coach posts at the end. How are you closing your posts? Does my heart feel warm? Are you leaving an impression on people? Are you being genuine? Or are you just like, Sean Week? Yeah, pumped up. I'm so mean. I'm really not mean, I promise. I like to have fun. Okay, so the second skill, now on the second skill, is you have to find people. So I search hashtags. I message 10 people a day on Instagram saying, hey girl, I just wanted to let you know that I love your purple hair. I have colored hair, so I'm always looking for cool people with colored hair. And, you know, newly pregnant moms, that's like a whole new thing for me, but I'm just like, easy conversation starter. Hey, congratulations on your pregnancy. I see you're 6 months along. I'm almost 3 months along. How's it been going for you? Guys, that is not scary. Don't overcomplicate the second skill. Finding people, and not just on a hashtag, but I'll give you guys my secret for Facebook. And I share this all the time, and I think people still don't use it. It blows my mind. So I scroll on social media with purpose. Like, you're all scrolling, don't lie. If you're scrolling, you might as well find new people, and this is how I do it. I don't do it in groups. If you are rocking groups, high five to you, because I do not do well with them. I found some people for sure, but when I'm scrolling and an ad is shown to me, for example, I was on, you know, a maternity site looking for some pants the other day, and then Facebook is creepy, and they show you that ad, right? You guys have all seen that before. And they refeed you what you didn't buy. So what I do, because that's my clientele, the person that is like me is also looking for those capri maternity pants. And so I look at the ad of the people who have commented and the people who have liked the ad. It's free, guys. They're spending money on showing an ad to you, and you don't have to spend any money to click on their, you can tell by their little profile picture. You can tell by their profile when you click on it if they're like you, quote unquote. And that's how I find people. Like, boom. I do that in 5 minutes. So if you're struggling to expand, that's just pure laziness in my CEO words. Like, I don't let myself slack on expanding. And I got to 5,000 people really fast. I had to grow a like page, and now I use Instagram. As a CEO, way down the road, guys, I'm 4 years in. Don't get all scared. You will have to do that too. And I suggest it. You must expand. So I touched on the connecting part, which is still part of number 2. Finding people and connecting. Don't just friend request forever and ever. Eventually, you do want to like and comment on their stuff. I personally, and again, this business is not black and white. Dana might tell you something different. Take whatever you want. You're the CEO. You get to figure out your own success and what's going to work for you. I will message them if I really, really like them. I sent out a few messages today when I was waiting for my blood work, and it was just such an easy conversation. Okay, so don't overcomplicate that second skill. Here's the third skill that you have to sharpen, is inviting and following up. So, did someone say they have a question?
Yeah, can I ask something super quick?
Of course.
When you find random people through ads like that, do you friend request them, or do you, and even though you don't have any mutual friends, like they'll sometimes accept you, or what?
Yeah, so it's based on your profile picture. They're going to click on your name,
right?
And they're going to look at your profile picture, and they're going to look at your thing. I don't have Beachbody in my profile. I don't suggest having Beachbody in your profile, guys, because unfortunately people ruin it for us. Network, it doesn't matter, any network marketers. Any single time that I see LuLaRoe or Roden and Fields, I don't add them. So people aren't going to add us. So I take Beachbody out. I paid someone $20 for my cover photo, guys. $20. If your profile, or not profile picture, sorry, cover photo. Cover photo, if it's not strong, pay someone, outsource it. So easy. I spent $20 back in the day on a Groupon for my first photo shoot. Come a long way since then, but I wanted to stand out. I wanted to not look like the Beachbody coach. I wanted to be that CEO. I wanted to have that feel. And in my cover photo, it says what I offer and what I share and what I'm about. And people should get that feel from your cover photo as well. Yeah, Dana says, hers says, sorry, Laura, I wasn't looking at the chat. I'm so glad you interrupted me. Hopefully there's no other questions. Yes, so I friend request them. On Facebook, it's different on Facebook. So I let them accept my friend request. And you know how it pops up in Messenger, you are now connected with? I love that feature because I don't have to go and see if they accepted my friend request. I then will send them a message and I'll say, hey girl, thanks so much for adding me on here. I just wanted to let you know that, I compliment them. Girls love compliments. I will compliment them. And then I say, I'm just here to share the happy vibes with other women on social media. Emoticon high five. I hope you have an awesome day. How much better does that sound to you than, hey, how are you? Creep. Don't do that. One of my coaches wasn't hitting Success Club and I looked at her conversations and I'm like, you just said, hi, how are you? Great. So just, I'm all about the love, guys. I want you to message people and leave an impression on their heart. They should be like, dang, who is this person? Because you're serving, right? So, okay, so after I'm connecting with these people, the third skill is inviting and follow up. I could spend forever on this, so I don't want to take a long time. But there are 3 ways I invite. In the last 6 months, I'm like, how long has it been? I've changed my business. Like I said, I stopped doing free clean eating groups because it wasn't filling my cup and I wasn't changing lives in a big way in the way that I know I can. So now I have what's called the Beautiful Minds Workshop. It's a 5-day, it's basically like a 5-day free clean eating group, but it's just my own version of talking about mindset, health, and wellness. That's where I talk about my challenge groups. That's where I talk about the community aspect, and I talk about the challenge pack a little bit, and I tell them, I'm not here to sell you. I am just here to tell you what has worked for me for 4 years. Let me tell you guys that a Beachbody coach will not say that. The CEO that has belief in Beachbody will say that. I have coaches on my team page that will say, hey, I don't know what to say to this person. This is what they want to lose this weight. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what to say to them? Don't you believe in our challenge pack? Don't you believe in what the Shakeology has done for you? We only recommend one thing, and it's what's worked for us. So don't overcomplicate that either. So I invite people to my free group typically right off the bat. If I love them and they message me back, then they're like, oh, thank you so much. Congrats on your pregnancy. That's been a big one lately. I'll say, hey, I know this is random. Here, I'll actually read to you what I say. So out of breath. Okay. So we were talking about, she was just like a random workout chick on Instagram. I started it with, hey girl, just wanted to say thanks for love on my post. Hope you're having an awesome Friday. That's my go-to conversation starter, because if someone likes my post, I'm gonna thank them. And if I find someone on Instagram that I like, I kind of say the same thing. I just say, thanks for sharing your life on social media. I think it's special when women do that. It doesn't have to be complicated. She said, congrats for giving me baby fever. We talked about health and wellness journey. I didn't go into a challenge group. I didn't go into join my this. I just left it as, it's the best when you find something that works. I know the feeling. That's kind of like, I'm going to eventually get to it, right? So then the next day I said, hey, I know this is random, but I just wanted to ask if you were on Facebook. I host this really awesome and empowering Beautiful Minds workshop where I share my passion for living life in a happy and healthy kind of way. I feel like you would so vibe with the group. Let me know if you want me to fill you in on the detail. It's free. On the group, not the detail. It's free. Every single person says yes to that. So my third skill that I sharpen is I invite to a free group. And I think it needs to be powerful. I really think that if you're a newer coach, guys, rock the free clean eating groups, but eventually they'll get old. And eventually when you start to come out of your personal development shell, you'll have so much to share with them. And yes, it takes time and love and work and hours to put time into a workshop or whatever you want to call it. I don't like the word group, so I say workshop. And then I follow up with them. After they're in my free group, I usually have about 25 girls every month in there that I hand selected. And I tell them, I hand select you guys. I will then say, hey, what did you think? Just talk to them about it. Sometimes it goes nowhere. I had one of my highest months in Success Club, which for me, Success Club 26 is high nowadays, 4 years in. I haven't really hit that lately because of that workshop. They saw I gave value. They saw I was serving. They saw that I wanted to help them. So that's personally why I believe so much in a free group, because you could get off this call and invite 200 people right now to a free group. And there's no fear in that, right? Because you're so pumped. You're like, I'm giving these people free stuff. But if your group is kind of weak, you're not going to be as confident to invite people. But if you put love into a free group for people, you will think it's the best thing since sliced bread. I follow up with them. Typically, based on our conversation, I will invite them to my next challenge group. So you always need to have a challenge group going or pair up with someone. And then that's when I close the deal for Success Club. Okay, fourth skill. I try not to spend a long time on that, but that you need to sharpen as a CEO is giving an amazing experience. So I kind of just already said that. In my Beautiful Minds workshop, I pour my heart and soul into that. I do 5 live videos, Some of them are 35 minutes, some of them are 15, and I give them everything I have learned. Guys, if you are a full-time working busy mom and crushing your health and fitness journey, you must break down how you are doing it and share that with others. How many women do you think you could invite into a free group of giving info, not a Beachbody group, but just info of how you are rocking being a badass mom who works full time? I have a mom on my team that has a disabled child. Like, people wonder, how are you doing that over there? You have to teach that to people. So give an amazing experience. I personally, like, I put myself in the customer's shoes. If I was added to a free clean eating group, I would be so bored. I need like lots of stuff. And so that's why I put in what I think someone would be like, this is wow. So when you talk to people, if you just message someone and say, hey, how are you? And be the creep, that's not giving an amazing experience. But if you're like, hey girl, 2 kids are super cute. I'm a mom as well. I'm just on here connecting with other people. I hope you have an awesome Friday. I don't know about your week, but my week was crazy. Smiley face, unicorn, whatever your emoticons are. Like, give an amazing experience every single time that you are touching a human being, whether it's in a message, on the phone, whatever. And smile big, always, especially if you're in person. And your coaches, give them an amazing experience. If they are signing up under you, like, you are their leader. They are looking up to you. And don't tell me that you don't know how to lead. Because guess what? All you have to do is teach them what you're doing. The rest is up to them. I can't do the work for my coaches, but all I can do is give them an amazing experience, transfer that belief to them, lead by example, and then hope that they believe in themselves enough to keep going. But it's up to me to give that amazing experience. The last skill, this is the scary one, no, I'm just kidding, is introducing the coaching opportunity. So yeah, you guys know the vital behaviors, you guys know you have to do your workout and shake, but that's what Beachbody coaches do. The CEOs are always sharpening their skills for how am I introducing coaching? My funnel has been the Beautiful Minds workshop to a challenge group to inviting to learn more about coaching and then transitioning for people sharp skin. I have very sharp skin right now. So another thing for me, 4 years in, is I go for the coach invite. Hey girl, you're awesome. I love energetic people who enjoy social media because there are too many people out there who see social media as a bad thing. I see it as a beautiful thing, connecting with awesome people like you. I have no idea if anyone has ever asked you, but have you ever considered doing what I do as an online coach? If you are not sending those messages every single day to invite people to be in your team, you are not being a CEO. And I know I'm being tough on you guys, but you've got to sharpen those skills. And if it's a fear thing, you've got to work through that. It's either you keep hesitating and just don't do it, or you do it, flail around outside that box, and you figure it out faster. What time are we at? Cool. I'm going to stop there because that was a lot of stuff. But if you guys have more questions, were there any others? Okay. I love questions, so I'm here for you guys. My husband's paddleboarding, so it's just me. While I catch my breath. Does that kind of make sense with you guys with how like people stand apart, right, from the leaders? And I don't want you to group yourself of, oh, I'm over here and she's over there. We don't do that, right? We're equal. You just make the decision to make that walk across the bridge to fill that gap.
Colleen, oh.
I was gonna say I have to have one question. Go ahead.
I'm like always full of questions. So have you had a lot of coaches that, quit or like take a year off or whatever? Because I feel like that I've already come up with that a lot. And I know that I have some of my coaches who are building teams who have coaches that say, I'm going to take a step back. Because I feel like, it is like a hard business to be in. And what is do you have any like words of wisdom with that type of thing? Like I guess it makes me feel like sometimes I don't lead well enough. Like I don't show them how to. I think the biggest thing is people have a hard time separating Beachbody from family or home life because it's so, like when I'm a nurse, I go to work and I work for 12 and a half hours and I come home and I usually go to bed, and it's done. Whereas like with Beachbody, you always have your phone or your computer. And I know people say like, turn it off. Okay, whatever. Like a lot of people don't do that, but like you still, like, how do you guide your coaches to feel more balanced, I guess? I know that's like a hard question.
So I encourage everyone to remove the word balance because you're never going to find it.
Box, right?
And I can't think of her name. Micah Folsom said you need to find harmony.
Okay.
And every family's decision is different. I have had people that straight up told me I am not willing to sacrifice 2 hours in the weekends with my son. And I said, totally fine. I think it's badass that you're like, I'm not doing that. And you own it. Whatever you want, you need to own it and be okay with the decision that you're making. Because for the next 10 years of being a Beachbody coach, if you're trying to balance family and your phone, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And I'm not just picking you out. I'm just saying, people in general. The other thing is, this is where my tough love comes out, is I don't think people need to separate Beachbody and their life. Like I think of the Delgados. They don't separate Beachbody and their life. Your family is a part of what you're doing, I hope. And maybe that's something people are working on. If there's that separation, you feel it, you know it, it weighs on you. I wear the pants in the relationship. Sorry, babe, he's not here. I'm talking to no one. But my husband knows that I'm going to work and then I'm really good about crushing my work. Like, guys, if you do the invites and you do the friend requesting and you do what you're supposed to do, Beachbody does not take long. You're just diddly-dally. That's up to you. If you guys have a team of coaches who are hitting Success Club and you're showing up and putting in the work, your team is going to grow and help you succeed and create an income, which then provides freedom. So if you're diddly-dallying in the Beachbody coach, just like the dipping the toe in, and I just think that balance is impossible. When I started this, I worked 3 jobs, and my husband knew, I told him, you're not going to see me for a little bit. Our relationship wasn't the same, but it was worth it. And you just have to be willing to make that decision. And your family has to be on board with sacrifice now for more later. And some people aren't okay with that, which is fine. It just takes longer. But I just don't think people should have to separate Beachbody and their life like that. Think about the most successful coaches. That doesn't mean that they don't put their phone down. There's that balance, I guess we can say, business hours, but get your stuff done in the business building activities. Like posting on social media, doing your workout, drinking your shake is not part of CEO world. That's part of just, I do it anyway. So the CEO work is the behind the scenes. If I was to ask you guys, how many people did you talk to today? How many people did you invite to coaching today? Do you put together a What is Coaching event every single month? Like, how big are you willing to go? The earlier you do it, the better. Balance versus boundaries, yes. She already said that, but Colleen Curtice, and my last name is spelled weird. You guys can follow me on, it's all the same, Colleen Curtice on Instagram, my website, and Facebook.
Megan, go ahead.
Hey. I have a question too when you're done.
So I have a question, so say you found me on Instagram, we connected, and you invited me to your free workshop. Can you walk us through, is that just a week that I would take part in that? And then do you start a whole new one, or where do I go from there? If let's say I'm a no or a not yet, then what happens from there?
A no to my free group? Or
I'm assuming it's a week, right? And
yes.
Then you're following up with me and I say not yet. So then am I riding your workshop again, or do you start a new one? What are you doing?
So awesome question. So I keep them in the group, and minus this whole month of, being pregnant, I had to push back because I was way too sick to even think about getting on live videos. But I typically did it the first Monday of every month, and I keep it in the same group because I'll add people. I only do it once a month for 5 days, 1 live video a day, sometimes other inspirational posts depending on what I'm feeling for the day. But sometimes I'll invite people and it's not starting for 3 weeks. So I'm always filling that group of awesome people because I'm always connecting. And I say, hey, if you want to dive in and watch the videos I did last round, totally go for it. Otherwise, you can join us and engage with me on the next round of live videos. to answer that part of your question, I haven't changed out the group because that is kind of a lot of work where I find these awesome people and I already have them in one group. For the no's, so I'm a list person. I don't write down every single name that I connect with. I write down the names of people I've invited to something. And that's my best advice for tracking for you guys, or no's or follow-ups, is my list is not 20,000 people long. It's about 10 to 20 people every single month that I've had a conversation about a free group, coaching, or a challenge pack that are on the fence. I'll do it next week, maybe in a few months. If I don't go anywhere with the conversation, I'm not necessarily tracking those people because I'm trying to find new people. So to me, it's kind of a waste of time if the conversation doesn't go anywhere. So I just have this really, really simple list that I work from, and I'm always following up with those people. And I actually add people to my challenge groups. If I really feel like they need the challenge group to just kind of poke around, I just add them to the group, even though they don't have a workout or a shake or anything. And they see what my challenge groups are like, and then they want to be a part of it. But some people require people to purchase a challenge pack before they're ever added. So total personal preference. Hopefully that answers your question.
I have a question. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So with pregnancy and kind of, do you feel like you've rebranded then with that new aspect in your life? And I know people can be really weird about pregnancy. So how do you feel about talking to them about that? Like, that's where I'm at right now. And
Well,
like, thanks.
It's really awkward, and I don't go after pregnant people as far as like, hey, want to join my challenge group, because most of them aren't going to do Shakeology. They're just kind of weird about it. So I'm like thinking of those as, hey, I'm going to talk to these people for 9 months. So I actually recently started a mom squad group, like just opened it. No idea what I'm doing with it yet. I'm just kind of posting like, hey, this is what I ate today, and we all laugh about it. Or, hey, this is my workout today. Just new mom talk, whether they're expecting or just had a kid. So that's going to be a funnel that I'm adding to that will pay off later. But right now I'm not going for the pregnant moms. I'm really honestly going for people that are like me that I think will benefit from my vibes. Maybe they'll do a challenge group, maybe they'll do a workshop, maybe they'll be a coach. I kind of try to put them in different buckets. But I'm just looking for people like me that share on social media. I'm not trying to beg people that aren't good on social media, because they're probably going to struggle coaching, So my end thought is always coaching. So
Cool. Thanks.
you're welcome. And I'm not saying you can't go the pregnant route to help people, but I just think it's a harder sale, if they've never done the groups before and stuff. But it's just, you can talk so different to people when you're pregnant. You can talk about gross shit and whatever.
Colleen, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Hi. So I've been following you, like totally creeping on you for a very long time. But I like following you because you're very animated, and I come off very flat. I work in like a super high stress environment, and I just think I don't come off the way I mean to. So you were saying that you mentor some of your coaches and like you kind of redo their posts with them and that kind of stuff. Do you have anything that you can recommend as far as like PD or like podcasts to listen to, as far as just coming off more, I don't want to say interesting, but I think I come off very flat and like not resting bitch face, but kind of. That's just,
Yeah.
I
don't really have any PD to recommend, because I really feel like that's a skill learned through Beachbody, through watching other people. Like Candice, one of my coaches, you have to play around with camera angles. You have to play around with editing. You have to play around with emoticons and capitalizations. And that's why PD is such a beautiful thing, because you can tell a story. So best advice for you, I wish I had PD recommendation, but find a coach that you love to follow. I know you said that you follow me, which is super cool. High five. But like, if you like my style of writing, maybe try some, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but in the first line of my posts, I have color emoticons for a reason. Because when people are scrolling on social media, if you just have text, whoop, they're going to go right by you. So that's why I always use colored emoticons in the beginning of my posts so that people stop and read. But try the capitals, try the emoticons, and really get confident to play around with people feel your attitude and your poise through your photos, live videos, of course. And I'm not kidding. I used to practice in the mirror, and I used to practice on my drives and how I talk like this. And if you guys could see my first videos, Dana saw them. They were bad. I read off scripts. It was bad. So just kind of have to throw yourself in the ring. Because I don't think like any other PD is gonna necessarily, maybe it's a confidence thing. I don't know if that's the gap for you maybe, but any confidence building books or PD. I bought my team Shalene's Confidence Club, but I really just think that in the Beachbody world of posting, it's just kind of like a going for it. That's why I change my hair. That's why I change my glasses sometimes. Like I have to spice it up a little bit. And I'm not saying you guys have to go buy glasses and lipstick and all that, but that's just my brand of, I like to keep it spicy. So.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi. So I guess you talk a lot about like, okay, you know, your coaches can do or not do what you tell them to do, basically. Like it's not easy, like we give them the trainings, blah, blah, blah. But how do you, I guess, lead your team or people that are skeptical that could be awesome coaches through their fears? I guess. I think that is like one thing that really, I don't know. I'm just curious to your response.
So some people I can't get through to. Like I try so hard. It's not that I give up on them. I'm like, it's gonna be on their time. Maybe they'll quit, maybe they'll come around. I've really asked them, what are you comfortable doing? So good leaders ask great questions. So you guys are going to all see your coaches asking you questions now. So when you guys are saying like, okay, well, I'm not comfortable doing that yet. So what are you comfortable doing? It's kind of putting it back on them because we can't do it for them. And I can butter them up so juicy and tell them, go read You Are a Badass. And they could watch Tony Robbins. And then when the action comes, they break down. And so I think meeting them in the middle of what are you comfortable with pushing their luck a little bit. And if they're just not willing to push, I'm not going to pull someone. that's too exhausting. We call those emotional vampires, just so you guys know. So don't be an emotional vampire. We want to push you guys. We want to help you succeed so badly. But you have to be willing to at least say, okay, I'm comfortable doing this. And then I work with them to kind of just keep making those steps. So I don't know if that helps, but and I make sure that they're doing PD. I know when a coach is doing PD because it shows up on their social media. They start doing live videos. They start sharing more of their journey. You just know when someone is actually doing the work. Guys, I've been to therapists. I've spent thousands of dollars on PD. I've been to events. Like, it's hard work. You truly, deeply have to go in to be able to come out. So I just made that up. You have to go in to be able to come out. Just keep empowering your team, for sure. I share my struggles with them all the time. I say that, I show my team what I'm doing. I show my screenshots of invites. I tell them, and I'm like, is that hard? Can you do that? Can you do that? And they're like, I know. So I show them what I'm doing. An improv class? Wait, who's talking about an improv class? Sorry, someone was talking.
No, that was me. I was just asking if there was more questions. I don't want to keep you all night. Because I have a question if nobody else does.
Go for it.
I just wanted to ask you, because we do have quite a few new coaches on, and also some just kind of new developing leaders. I just wanted to ask you, like, what were two of your biggest fears, and what was it that helped you overcome it? Aside from personal development, obviously.
Like in the business itself?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So fears that have come up, and ironically later, like in the beginning, it was just like a little kid. You're just so fearless running around. At least that was my experience. It's typically the opposite for most people. They're scared in the beginning. As I've grown, I take so much responsibility in helping other people grow that if I don't see a person with potential growing, I fear like what if I can't impact them, or what if I can't help them grow their business? And that has been the biggest fear for me and how did I overcome it is I have to remember that someone has to own the Beachbody mission for themselves. Whether or not whether or not they like love it, hate it, or, like I'm a lifer. It doesn't matter if all my diamonds quit today, I would still do Beachbody. I really hope to like create a culture of people where I shouldn't be fearful of, oh my God, what if I can't help them? Because that's not on me. I know I'm doing my absolute best. I can always be growing. So that was one fear. I still kind of have a weird fear with inviting like successful looking people on social media. So although I've been doing it 4 years, you know, if I see a blog writer or a photographer or even a friend, because Lake Tahoe is weird, man. Like everyone's an entrepreneur, but they do not want to do what I do. And there's all these people that I want to invite, and I still haven't. Like I still am like, I don't care what they think about me. It's just that weird. Like, what if they're like, no, I don't want to do Beachbody? I'm actually more fearful of someone saying, no, I don't want to work out, or no, I think this of Beachbody, like than what they're going to say to me. So how I've overcome that is I'm still working through that. And I don't know why, but I feel so comfortable on Instagram. I feel so comfortable talking to people. And I'm like, how can I mess it up if I spread the love and make them feel special and not just get this creepy message like we all get on Instagram? And how can I stand out and show people that I'm really not just doing Beachbody? It's been very clear in my brand that I'm not just doing Beachbody. I will help you overcome confidence and grow with you. And the whole, like, if you go through a tragedy, like I'm there with you, girl. It's a whole different world for me. So I try to stand out on social media so that people don't think it's just Beachbody when I do invite them. So that's why your social media matters. They're going to go check you out. They're going to stalk you. And so I just wanted to be clear of what I do so that when I invite them, when they greet me, it's like, all right, she's cool. She's not like a network marketing weirdo. Yeah, Ashley said she was intimately inviting doctors. But you know what's funny is, so to kind of cure that is, think of what's her name? Stephanie Burgos. She's an ER doctor, crushes it in Beachbody. You know, we have lawyers and dentists and all this stuff. And I just think, like, what if her coach didn't invite her? So maybe you might not invite them today. Maybe it's July. But I just really try to push myself eventually. My fears are weird. They're like so out of the ordinary.
I think that first fear you mentioned kind of ties in with the fear of inadequacy too, because it's a similar thing for me too.
Yeah. And you guys will all feel that.
Too. Yeah, for sure. Does anybody else have questions for Colleen while we have her? Any burning questions? If you follow her and you're always like, I just want to ask her this.
Yeah, I know. I'm always surprised. Like, people are like, I love following you. I'm like, well, you never asked me anything. I'm scary.
Here's a good one, Colleen. Have you ever like hit a point in your business where you had a huge failure where you literally took such a dip in belief or motivation? Or have you ever just come to a crossroads where you're like, I'm stuck, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, where do I go from here? And kind of like lost your momentum, and if so, how'd you get it back?
A million times. That's an exaggeration, but like 3 specifically that I remember is when way back early in the day when I was a 1-star, and like, 1 star, I was like, yeah, like on top of the world, and I dropped to Emerald, and I was like, okay, whoa. And that to me was such an important lesson. Remember, the challenge falls in my lap. How are you viewing it? Are you like, oh my God, I suck, I'm failing? Or are you like, okay, wake up call, what do I need to do? And that made me want to bust my butt. I'm the person who fears not achieving a goal. I don't fear what it takes to get there. I fear more so, oh my God, what if I don't achieve it? So my brain's a little wacko like that. So that was one. So November, like what year are we? So November 2016, I was really struggling to hit Success Club. It's that weird, like I just finally started feeling better. I had mono forever, and I just felt so off my game. And that will happen. You're going to have this awesome, roller coaster ride, and then you're going to hit the bottom, and then you go, what do I do? And you have to give yourself a project. You have to give yourself a new challenge of, okay, I'm going to tackle Instagram. Okay, I'm going to tackle Facebook. Okay, I'm going to tackle a new badass What Is Coaching event. Give yourself a project of something that makes you really uncomfortable. Because if you try to do the same things like, okay, I'm just going to do my power hour, I'm just going to do my workout, you're going to kind of just spin your wheels a little bit because you've already been doing those things, I hope. So you got to challenge yourself in a bigger way. And every time that I go big in a project and challenging myself, of course, on top of the foundational stuff, I always come out on top. And it's just like these completely different ebbs and flows in my business. And even this month, like May being sick with my pregnancy is showing up in June, and Success Club has been hard for me this month. I'm like, who am I helping? Who was it that asked me? Christina's like, who are you helping? Pregnant moms? It was a weird transition for me when I didn't expect that. And so I was sitting doing my blood work today, and I was like, I'm running a Facebook ad. I'm so craving a brand new, juicy, excited, motivated coach. So I'm taking action on it rather than stressing out on it. So I haven't recruited a single coach this month. And that's unlike me. So I gotta go take action on that. So there's so many, but I've been blabbing forever, I feel like, so.
I think my favorite sentence was that fear not achieving the goal more than you fear what it takes to actually achieve it. Love it.
Yeah. It's kind of like my parents raised me like this, but you know, if you don't do your homework and get good grades, like mom and dad are going to be pissed. And so that's kind of how I think about this business. Like if I don't do it, my dream life is not happening. If you guys have nice, comfy, cush jobs, you're probably like, oh, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool if I hit 1-star. It's cool if I hit elite. But I didn't have that. Like all that was gone. Back up against the wall. You got to act like your back is against the wall and you will make it happen. The whole balance question doesn't even exist. That will just go right out the window.
I have a quick question. Colleen, you run ads. Do you run ads for that Beautiful Mind challenge? Like what's your angle for ads?
So I really honestly suggest if anyone's going to get into ads, if you haven't, like Jesse Reagan's training is amazing. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of work, but you can wait. I've wasted thousands of dollars on ads and sometimes it's worked and sometimes it hasn't. So I just want to kind of preface it by saying that it's an awesome recommendation I want to give you guys because it's Beachbody coaching, teaching you how to build audiences and a following. But if you struggle to show up on social media, it does not matter what kind of ads you're running, your ads will fail. So I have run ads for my Beautiful Minds workshop. I didn't have the right audience, and so I've played around with it. I've had more luck with challenge group ads. So coaching ads have been hard, and free group ads have been hard for me. Still working on it, but I've had more luck with challenge group ads, actually. So.
With that said, Colleen, because I know that we all didn't branch into those, until way later on, like when would you suggest a coach actually start looking into investing into ads? Because what I don't want is for new coaches to think that they can't get to like diamond, 1-star, 2-star, whatever beyond without doing ads.
Oh yeah, totally. So there are even elite coaches who don't still to this day run ads. And so you need to rock the SHIT out of your Facebook or Instagram. Like you need to be getting gold stars on that. You need to be going live. You need to be like, if there's a social media checklist, which I guarantee there's one on your team page, once you are rocking that stuff and you have people commenting and engaging, you're building an audience. And then you go, okay, what's next? Then you move on to the next project. And so I didn't do that until 2.5 years in. And Facebook has changed so much since then. So it's like a full-time job. I'm not going to lie. Learning ads is like, okay, what's next? Big project. So totally rock your social media. I grew my whole business to 6 figures without ads in the beginning. So ads is when you have your social media that you're serving and you're just like, I want to help more people. That's how I see it.
When you go do your live videos, do you do them on your personal page or your business page?
So before I got pregnant, I was doing really good on my business page because it's hard. In the beginning, you get like 100 views and you're like, oh, but if I do it on my personal page, I get like 1,000 views or whatever. And so you have to, it's this mind game of, the sacrifice in the beginning. So I've actually tried to do both because I do so well on my personal page still. And Jesse Reagan will tell you, like, kill the personal page. I'm not going to tell you to do that. But I do go live on both. Sometimes I'll share it to that page. It does not do as well, but the views are definitely lower on the business page. So you just have to stay consistent. They actually say, like, if you can go live once a day for a week and like rock it and have an awesome audience, you'll start to build more engagement. But it's hard to do that. So like I said, it's a full-time job. And it has to be lots of value. Like it has to be like what I bought grocery shopping this week to eat clean. Like it has to be juicy. It has to be a title that people are going to stop and listen.
So do you share different content on your business page versus your personal page?
I don't, to be honest. Like lately, because I'm in survival mode until like now I'm feeling better. I was just actually across all my platforms, because I have a different audience on Instagram than I do on my business page than I do on my personal page. Sometimes I share different things. It kind of depends what mode I'm on. So back when I was doing the live videos on my business page, I was crushing live videos over on my business page. And then I kind of took a break from my personal page. But right now, I am sharing the same content on them. So I'm sweating. Whew. Passion sweats. And you guys, like, you can't mess it up. So everyone like always wants to ask, like, that's a really common question, like the like page stuff, and you can't break it. You can't mess it up. Jesse Reagan's training is just amazing for the value of how to tell your story and the content and that alone. Like before you even get to the ad stuff, I learned so much from him, but it's a lot of work. So I kind of had to take that little break when I was dying, but I was still connecting from my phone. So.
All right. Does anybody have any last questions for Colleen? It's almost 10.
One last question. What are your favorite PD books right now?
Right now, I mean, The Universe Has Your Back, I could read 25 times. So if you are spiritually like ready for that book, read that book. I actually have been kind of struggling to like this book because it's a lot to swallow, but Extreme Ownership. So if you guys are leading right now, like really hard book to read, but I know I need it. And then I actually went back to John C. Maxwell's How to Develop the Leaders Around You, because I'm really focusing on duplicating right now. So I read like 20 books at once, so I'm kind of a bad person to ask that. Oh, and a birthing book, but you guys don't care about that.
What'd you say?
I said and a birthing book, but you guys don't care about that.
What to expect when expecting?
No, not that.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Colleen. So many incredible nuggets tonight. Thank you to everybody hopping on. If you guys all want to just unmute yourselves and say thank you to Colleen tonight for taking time out of her day to share so much value with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys are welcome. Thanks for listening to me talk for an hour and a half.
We love you. All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. Bye.